Hello there, it's Fabienne. Thank you so much for joining me today. As you're joining me, please go into the comments and say hello and where you're from. I would also like to hear what is it that brought you here today? What is it that you wish to learn? And thank you for those of you who filled out the survey on the website. I'm dropping things. The survey on the website. I am super appreciative that you did. So let me check who's here. Cedia, thank you so much for doing this, for coming. I really appreciate that you're here. Jackie, I hope to give some value. Thank you, Kishel. Thank you especially. Thank you so much for so much. I'm learning so much. Philippa, thank you. I'm so glad that you're here. As you're coming in, please put your name and me. I'm a little flustered. I'm very very nervous to do this today. I have to be super honest with you. Hi Liza. Hi Joe Mitchell. Thank you so much for being here. It means so much to me that you're here. Katrina, hello. Great to have you. Olga, I'm glad that you're here. Thank you. Hello, Chanson. Great to have you here. Hi. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you for your love and support. I think we're going to have a really interesting conversation today. My intention is that it be helpful and the beginning of a long dialogue where we all learn so much more about how to show up publicly in a way that's helpful. Hello, Don and Jan. Thank you, Kishel. Thank you very much. Hi, Maggie and Milou. Okay, good. I just would love to know even how you're feeling, everyone. These are just really sensitive times for everybody. And I know that a lot of us have not spoken out because for many reasons that we'll talk about today. And so we feel hesitant to even say, this is how I feel, but this can be a place. Thank you, Joanne. This can be a place where you can say it and have us just really hold space for each other. Thank you. Thank you, Erica. I know that my power is in my vulnerability, even though sometimes people think I use it to manipulate, as I've learned this week. But I really thank you, Jackie. I do want to stay in my feminine around this. So, hello, everyone. Welcome. Shall I start? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna talk today. I gotta have some water already. I'm bracing myself. It's honestly been a long day, and my heart has been pounding since the beginning of the day. And I'm already aware that I'm talking about myself, and I shouldn't be talking about myself, but I'm just gonna keep it real, and I'm just gonna be who I am and hopefully try to share what I can. Let's talk today about how to speak publicly in sensitive times, but really it should say in these sensitive times. I know that so many of us are sitting here quietly because we just literally have no freaking clue how to approach this most complex and nuanced social issue that there is. There are many things that we could be doing differently. And I've especially learned that in the last 24 to 48 hours. I just want to say from the get-go that I am really, really new to this foreign topic. You could blame me for that too, okay? Being stuck in my white bubble, being completely ignorant, you would be correct. So I am likely going to make some mistakes today. I will make mistakes going forward, but here's what I promise that I will do. And I will likely cry today, and I get that I shouldn't be crying, but I am also a super sensitive person. So I'm just going to keep it real. But here's what I promise to do today and going forward. I promise to show up as my real self, and I promise to listen, and I promise to do better than I've done in the past. Okay? And so I'm actually also bringing this as a call to all of us who are here to listen and to put aside our egos and to not justify our actions that are of the past and perhaps our future actions. So I'm just here to say I am not equipped to have this conversation. I've already been attacked a couple times for saying you are not a teacher of this. You are an example of white ignorance, and I agree. I am not equipped to teach this, but I don't know of another resource. Now I know in the last 24 hours, but I am not here as a teacher. I am here as a gatherer of information. I am here as a gatherer of people. As a woman, like I am a person. I am a woman who is open to hearing more, who is perhaps a clumsy catalyst for conversation. I've reached out to a couple people in a DM on social media today who are rather direct with their comments and said, I would love to hear from you if you would like to have a conversation. I am coming to you with my ribcage wide open. So I repeat, I'm not an expert. I'm just trying to be brave. So what started this class off is that 2 days ago, so today is Wednesday, 2 days ago, I posted a video on social media that was just literally, again, like my heart, like just like, here's my heart. And there was a large part of me that really didn't want to. And I haven't in the past, ever, like ever. Because I just, for many reasons that I'll share, and I share this with you because the feedback that I've gotten from so many of you in DMs, in our client calls, in the Facebook and Instagram comments, is that we want to say something, but we haven't. But we're now realizing more and more that not saying anything is infinitely worse than saying something and saying it imperfectly. So that was, why are you doing this video now, is what I heard more than once. And it's because, it's totally hypocritical to just sit here and watch these things happen. And they've been happening for decades, and I never said anything. So at first when I posted it, and I've answered every single comment, I've basically all day yesterday and all day today, I've put a pause button on stop selling tickets to something, put a pause button on ads and things like that to respond. So at first they were all, the responses were all supportive, literally all of them. And it seemed like people were saying, oh my gosh, thank you for doing this, because I haven't been doing anything, I just don't know what to do. So you've given me an inspiration to do it in my own way. I've gotten a lot of those messages. I just want to, I'll be happy. Well, I'm an emotional person to begin with. Those of you who know me know that I wear my heart on my sleeve. I wear it in my throat. This is who I am. Some of you I'm reading are feeling personally helpless. I'm hoping there is no blaming and shaming here, please. And I would love for all of us to feel that we can do that. So let me share some of the comments. At first it was like, Fabienne, thank you for speaking your heart, no matter how clumsy you may feel. Just people will listen, stand up for what you believe. Thank you for this. It's okay not to know what to say. It's beyond words. As a Black woman working in the diversity, equity, and inclusion space, I appreciate your vulnerability. We need our white sisters and brothers to speak up. We've been screaming, marching, writing, and working to be heard and seen. Thank you for leaning in. So there was a lot of that. And then it took a turn, and especially today, Elsewhere, it was really rough to hear what was said. And to read some of the comments, like she should get an Oscar for her crying performance. And stop your crocodile tears. This isn't about you. Why the hell are you crying? This is from a former client. As a Black woman who watched your video, this email marketing of yourself seems so insensitive. I see nothing of you wanting to make a difference. You have to do better than this. Please make me wrong. Please let me know and let me feel that your sharing has true meaning and true sincerity in what you are doing, and it is not a marketing ploy. I got a lot of those today, especially on Instagram. People think that this is a marketing ploy. Fabienne, please do better. I'm so disappointed right now. I expected bigger and more from you. And then it started coming. This disgusts me and shows me how just ignorant white people are. Just go to any news, and I think it's important for me to give space for this, because I in my bubble of white ignorance, and choosing not to look at it, looking away, right? I didn't see the rage, and I think it's important to really listen, and not to come back, to really listen. Just go to any news platforms to watch the Black grieving mothers who actually have something to cry about. Where were you then? This is not about Fabienne Fredrickson. I don't want to see your tears. Cry with dignity in public and show some respect in public for the people. Cry with dignity in private. Show some respect in public for the people who have been subjected to the suffering and painful racial discriminations and actually have something to cry about. You people will never learn, and this, believe me, will be the downfall of us all. If you want to do something commendable with your platform, create a platform for those who really have something to cry about, to be heard. I don't want to see your tears. Cry in private, like those who with dignity do. This is not the FF show. Shame on you, shame on you, shame on you. Be made of steel and fight. Create petitions, get to know your fellow citizens. Start with yourself and your ludicrous self-pity. How many people of color do you know who you could call your bosom friend? Answer that one question honestly, and there's your pity party right there. Start with yourselves, and do not give me your blubbering wrecks to hold on to. Soothe and manage, because your well-oiled houses are coming tumbling down at the level of exploitation, rejection, and silent discrimination you have participated in for so long. Start with you and get yourself together, as we have had to do. But don't ask me to sit there in your pity parlor and cry with you, for you. But it goes on, and this is super interesting, okay? That was the first part of her message, and I've gotten several of these. Go into the deep, dark night of the soul. This is true nature of feminine wisdom. Face your darkness, face your fears, face your unmerited discriminations and silent condemnations. Gather all of the parts of yourself together, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Face yourself privately on your own, as each one of us must do. Face yourself. This is the true meaning of divine feminine energy and wisdom. And when you have come to the other side with the treasures of what you have discovered about yourself, and subsequently, how can you uniquely contribute to this beautiful planet and amazing movement for harmony and change, then and only then can we talk and laugh and cry and break bread together. Do the work, Fabienne, before you dare to be a spokesperson for Black Lives Matter. Face yourself and face your demons before you dare to want to sit down with me and take my stories and speak to me of your compassion. Because until this work is done and you show up with your soul, excuse me, it's hitting me because it's truth. You will never, until then, you will never understand the true meaning of deep listening, and subsequently deep compassion and deep transformation. And you will definitely not be giving me the gift of owning my peace, beauty, and serenity. And the reason this moves me is because she's right. She's right. If I move my ego to the side, she's absolutely right. And I know I might get backlash for this too. I'm trying to do my best, right? Um, here's what I want to say. It is really angry, but I think we need to put ourselves in the shoes of the people who have been experiencing. I'm trying not to edit my words, but I'm just going to use the words that I want to use, okay? And if it's not the right words, I'll get it better next time. But people who have been experiencing rejection, oppression, discrimination, and so many other words just today, all this week, all this year, all their lifetime, of course there's rage. I would be rageful. I'm rageful at the way that I am treated as a woman sometimes, but I'm a woman. I can't imagine what a black woman is experiencing. A black man. I mean, really, I don't know. But what I know is her rage is. I'll make space for her rage. I would be rageful as well. Excuse me. So why I think why have I don't even know how to talk. The fear of backlash, right, and just complete and utter ignorance is what has kept me silent all these years. Thinking, I can't. If I say anything, I'm good. Like it. I'm damned if I don't, and I'm damned if I do, which is what happened this week. Like, why aren't you saying anything? Okay, and the minute I do, I'm damned too. So, but that's okay. I'm okay with that, right? So what's gotten in the way? This fear of backlash. It's also a fear of impotence. Like, I can't even make a dent into this thing that's been going on for hundreds of years. Who the hell do I think I am? And with my skin tone, like, no, you better stay quiet, Fabienne. Fear of inauthenticity, which has shown up already. Like, people think I'm inauthentic and crying crocodile tears and using this. I got several comments today about using this as a marketing ploy, and some people think I'm going to sell something today. I'm not selling anything. I actually stopped selling. And there's a fear, a deep down fear of being rejected, fear of loss of love. And then this one I really got clear on in the middle of the night when I was thinking about this. Fear of full expression. That nameless fear of what might happen if you do fully express yourself and share what's on your mind, what's on your heart. That fear of what happens if I do show myself fully. This is primal, and it feels deeply dangerous. And I thought back to thank you so far for the kind comments. I think back to an intuitive reading that I had in September of 2008 with a woman who channeled my angels, and in this document, it said the fear of being rejected. This is my soul, right? The fear of being rejected and of being cast out from the tribe is a fear of great proportions. Most do not dare to even know that this fear exists, let alone determine to face it. They simply allow it to inform their decisions and choices, using the ego as a means of creating a false front to the fears. You, dear one, will face these fears in order to heal yourself on a physical, emotional, mental level, and to become fully empowered and authorized to help other women through this passage. The reason I share this with you is this fear. Most people won't even acknowledge it and or even face it. And I think part of me putting myself out there vulnerably, I wasn't going to do a live about this today. How dare I? But your responses and the negative comments have made me realize, like, I am willing to face the backlash. I am willing to face what it feels like to feel vulnerable and to open up my rib cage, because I want to heal myself. Because as we'll talk about today, better me, better we, better world. But if we're expecting the world to get better and we're not doing the work, good luck with that. So again, let's just first agree, if you're just joining us, that this is uncharted territory for all of us, including me, who don't live it daily. So in a way, we shouldn't be talking about this, but I'm just opening up the conversation. And today I will probably say some things that are wrong, and you may going forward. And also just know that by speaking up, we're putting ourselves in an ideal place for criticism, to be a target for judgment, for being misunderstood. And we've misunderstood, so we don't have much to say, and having our actions be misconstrued. But the question that was posed of me in something I'll talk about in a few minutes is, what side of history are you going to be on? And I want to be on the side of history. And I know this is a thing that we should be saying, but literally when I look in my heart, I want to be part of the solution, the stitch in the quilt that helped do this. Even I'm so little and so insignificant, but maybe just even having this conversation is helping me get on the side of history that I want to be on. And so, and please, if you have resources, and just please put them in the chat. I really, really, I too had my opinions, and the opinions of my audience were not that kind to you. Sad, and it reached out. Well, thank you. Thank you, Kishel. Kishel is here, and she's someone I've known for a while, and I'll share her advice, and I'll share all of that. Thank you. Your support means the world to me. So here's the deal. Collectively, and I'm just going to put a label on it. Many of us, white people, have looked away. We can say I'm not racist. We could say I have black friends. We could say I have black team members. We could say all the things, right? But we have all looked away. We have all pretended not to notice. I wasn't aware of this. I really wasn't. I'm just being honest. We have numbed ourselves to the traumatic pain that others are experiencing daily and have been experiencing their whole lives. And it's just like, let's just own that. If we're going to make a dent into this, not just us, but like the collective, if the collective consciousness is to make a dent into this, then we need to own what we haven't done. So one question that was posed is, why now? Why haven't we heard from you the last recent incidents, the last recent years? This has been going on since Rodney King and hundreds of years before that. And I believe that we all have our own reason for why we've been silent. I can speak for myself. Shame about my lack of caring. Guilt for being white and privileged. Anger that it's still happening, even though I've done nothing at all to stop it. Didn't realize that till now. Embarrassment that I look away. Embarrassment that I don't stop comments when they are made in front of me. And also just sheer overwhelm. I want to fix it, but I literally also, up until the last 2 days, did not know how to start. I just literally didn't look it up, didn't read about it. And so I'm just here to share that I can't change my past behavior, but I can start taking personal responsibility for my complicity for what's going on starting today. Like, those of you who followed me for a long time know that I always say any area of my life, any area of your life that's not working is one in which you haven't taken personal responsibility. And so let this perhaps be, and I hope you take it as a loving invitation, to look within as well. It's not going to fix itself on the outside. And what I've heard from so many of you who've sent me notes, and even just an hour ago on one of my client calls, like, a lot of us don't know what to do. And so, like I said, what I'm understanding now is what to do starts first from within, but also to take some serious action. So start from within, work on yourself. I'll give you some resources that I've just received that I'm starting to use today. Better Me better we, better world. And if we want to start expressing publicly, I think we can acknowledge where we have personally gone wrong and then go inside and begin doing the work. It's so easy to just wait for everybody else to do it, right? Yes, to better understand. Thank you, Doris. Absolutely. Oh gosh, so many lovely comments that I can't come up with. Thank you, Danielle. Yes, we have to check ourselves. I believe that taking personal responsibility with an open heart and being willing to have these types of courageous conversations and listening hard without responding. I mean, respond with kindness, but without responding and trying to get your point across. Right now is not about our point coming across. Right now is about listening hard to all the things we haven't been willing to hear from our place of privilege and ignorance. Why now? Because I feel stupid. I feel stupid, honestly. And I think having an open heart, taking personal responsibility, being courageous in our conversations, doing more, listening, modeling non-responsiveness, and being really sincere is how to speak publicly in times like these. I think any other way is missing the mark. So, as I see it, again, I might be wrong, okay? But as I see it, it's actually less about speaking and more about listening. And it's about learning to educate ourselves so that we can begin to unlearn a lifetime of privileged programming. And also realizing that this is for many. People are going to say this is too little, too late. Where were you? When? Where were you then? Okay, acknowledging that it is too little, it is too late, but it's also better than continuing to stay silent. So there have been people who've been waiting for us to wake up, and now that we're beginning to, they're tired, they're angry, they're rageful, and they've been traumatized for over a lifetime with no help from us. So let's not be mad at their anger. Okay, well, at least that's where I'm sitting right now, is when I get a comment like that, and I just say thank you, I'm listening really hard, and they don't respond. They make more comments. It's fine. It's okay. Just keep listening, right? So it's about starting to do the internal work and having compassion for not knowing what it's like to not live not only a day in their shoes, but a lifetime and centuries even. If we can put ourselves in their well-worn shoes. So here's a note that I got. Thank you, Fabienne Fredrickson. We thank you for your words. We cried together. The fact that you made a public response says plenty. All we want is for people to care enough, just enough to say something and do something. You did something. Thank you. You want to know how it feels? Imagine being on a playground at age 5. The only little white girl and all of the other children are black, and no one wants to play with you. Not because you're clothes, not because you're new, simply because your skin is white. You want to know how we really feel? Imagine growing up and every model in the store window was black. That every time you tried to buy hair product, it was made for curly hair only. Imagine that the only magazines available were Ebony, Jet, Essence, and Hype Hair. Imagine when you walk in small, cute boutiques as a white woman, people would stop talking, hold their children closer, and ask you how we can help you as they lead you towards the door while making sure they don't touch your clothes. Imagine the color nude always being for dark skin. Imagine getting hired because they just need to make sure they have 1 or 2 white ladies hired. Imagine people not wanting to touch you when you hand them money or never putting it in your hand. It's our everyday. Imagine trying to fit into a black world just so you can exist. Imagine extremely changing the way you speak just so you won't be seen as less than, when really it's just a different tongue. It's hard, it's exhausting, it's annoying, yet most of us do it every day, just to survive. We love you, Fabian. Thank you for being a voice. I hope that you do what you have done someday. I think I really appreciate the invitation, which I've never done before. The invitation to look at what even just one day would look like. My sense is that if we want to speak publicly about this, it's coming from our heart and without an agenda, other than just to be present and willing to take action and to be of real support. The issue, like, I thought I was coming from my heart in that video, but I think people saw it as an attention-getting mechanism, but it's okay. I read this quote about empathy. Let me hold the door for you. I may have never walked a mile in your shoes, but I can see your soles are worn. Your strength is torn under the weight of a story that I have never lived before. But let me hold the door for you after all you've walked through. It's the least I can do. It's like living with PTSD perpetually. It's our everyday. Another thing to do is to, I really want to read this, is the realm of educating ourselves. Research, Jane Elliott, she's an educator who did an experiment that is very telling on how racism got created. And she now talks about how to reverse it in our own selves as well as in our culture. Oof. So, don't be a hypocrite. Do you actually mean what you say? And if not, do not freaking say it to look good and to look like you're saying something. Like, if you're gonna say something, even if people are going to think that you are not being authentic, say what you mean. I've heard of this Ho'oponopono, I don't know how to say it. It's an ancient Hawaiian practice of reconciliation and forgiveness. It means to make right or rectify an error. It's based in the actuality of healing a situation by healing oneself. And so one of the things you can do is to practice Ho'oponopono using these 4 affirmations. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Say it to yourself, but even if you get a comment, from your sharing, just come from that place. Even if you don't say the words, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. Come from that heart chakra energy of just staying open. Because if you put yourself out there, not everybody's going to think that you're authentic. And you might just be the thing that was waiting for the rage to come out. You. And so here's what I'm learning. This morning, my friend Beth Davis, who might be here, she said she might be here, texted me at like 6:30 in the morning and said, I just want you to know that I just watched a Facebook Live, and it's actually a former client of yours, and she was reviewing 2 different people who put out a message. And I was like, okay, and it's Cashel. Cashel is here. And yeah, definitely not responding defensively. And Cashel did a live, I presume it was yesterday, and reviewed my video. It was hard, Cashel, it was really hard to sit through that. I almost I almost turned it off because I was bright red in the face. I'm not making you wrong, Cashel. I think I learned so much. In fact, with your permission, because you gave it to me, we emailed a few times today. And I put Cashel here because she has some books here, and just get to know her. She's a wonderful person. Cashel schooled me. She probably didn't know I was going to watch the video, but for an hour and 8 minutes, I kept putting it on pause, and I wrote down what she said to us. Why are you so upset now? Figure that out. I've figured it out because I'm ashamed. And I think I was crying about how ashamed I am of myself and of people who represent me. I'm ashamed. I'm crying because I feel utterly stupid and super emotional and super overwhelmed. Why are you making it about yourself? I didn't realize I was. But then, so lots of things to think about there. I hope it's okay to share this, right? Some things that she just gave advice, right? Just 25 pieces of advice. I'm going to cover all of them with you today because this is important for us to hear if we want to speak publicly in these sensitive times. Open a post immediately asking for input and help from people of color to educate me in my space. Get the mindset of being Black for one day. We just talked about that. Have a courageous conversation with your Black friends and ask, I don't know what to say, teach me what to say. It may be too little too late. And what I learned is that it's our problem, right? It's not their problem, which is how society makes it up. It's our problem. We are complicit. We've kept the system going for hundreds of years. It is set up to privilege us. So we're complicit because we're not an anti-racist. And this is a new term for me, and I'm buying that book, How to Be an Anti-Racist. We'll talk about some books. We're the problem because we don't check people who are racists. And what I heard Cashel say is they're not angry. Well, maybe some are with us, but racism comes from generations. Cashel, thank you. I hope it's okay. I just really honor the truth that you spoke, and I just really want to share this. And I thank you so much, and I'm so grateful for you. And I'm open to hearing from so many other people. I know that it's not your job to educate me. It's my job to go educate myself. But if you want to share some things with me, I'm so sweating right now. Try to get an understanding. Listen to what we've been saying, right? Like, we're not here, like, let's not shut people down if they have an angry reaction. Let's listen for the words. Like I always say, listen to my words. Now it's my turn to listen to the words that are being said. Let's stop having relationships with people who are racist. Let's just call them out on it. If it's not in our values, then we should not be having relationships with them. Acknowledge their hurt. Acknowledge the tiredness. Acknowledge the anxiety, the trauma, the PTSD. We have no idea what it's like to educate our sons to come home early and to be careful. And we don't know what it's like to kiss our husbands and not know if they're going to come home that night. I do not ever worry about that. I mean, yeah, I think, oh, what if this is love? But not like on a daily basis. Let's acknowledge all of that. Okay, let's make space for it. Let's open the conversation and just freaking listen. Just listen. Without an opinion. Without saying, but. I have things I want to say. Like a lot of people have said, but what about the looting? Yeah, but what about the killing? Okay, go and just talk about that first. I think the looting, is that what it's called? Looting? Mm-hmm. I think it's like rage. When a person is not listened to the first time, they'll shout, then they'll scream, then they'll want to break stuff. I know myself. I would do that too. I would. I am a passionate person. I would break stuff. So let's focus on the core, which is like, let's ask ourselves, what side of history are we going to be on? I know there's been people in my industry who are deleting comments when people are trying to talk to them. Like, I'm not deleting comments. Because I want to hear. I want to hear, and I will read some pretty hard to digest stuff I have today. And then I really like what Cashel said about, this is a thing that you can say, maybe write this down for yourself. I realized that I have been wrong and I never looked at it this way, the way that I should, and I have been insensitive, and I will work on reprogramming my mind around race. I will try to understand. I will do the research. This is about humanity. This is about humanity. What can we do so we can work on ourselves, but we can also ask, what do you want me to do? Is it laws? Is it voting? I spoke to my 88-year-old dad today, and he was like, it's voting. And I think it's a lot to do about doing the right thing in the system, right? So help us change the law so that things are different going forward. If you know people who are protesting, stop them from protesting, stop them from looting, stop them from spray painting. In a minute, we'll get to the 10 steps of non-optical allyship, which I'd never heard about. Educate yourself and put yourself in their shoes. It is not about you. Admit that your mindset is white privilege. No tears, just support. Do something, pull up. This is our issue, and we've been silent for too long. Writing is the language of the unheard. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That makes a lot of sense to me. Yes, anger left unchecked leads to rage, real rage, especially when someone is not heard. That is why people are reacting that way. I totally get it. Yeah, many people have been killed this week. Yeah. So here's what I learned. 10 steps to non-optical allyship. First, let's understand what optical, I don't know how to say it. An optical ally is it only serves at the surface level to platform the ally, right? So I'm with you, but it's just fake, right? It's just to look good. So it makes a statement but doesn't go beneath the surface and is not aimed at breaking away from the systems of power that oppress, okay? So if you're gonna do something, it's kind of what I said earlier, if you're gonna do something, like, mean it and don't just say it once. Check in with your Black friends, family, partners, loved ones, and colleagues. I did not do that. I feel really ashamed. I did not reach out to my team. I did not reach out to my Black team members. I did not reach out to my Black clients, to my Black friends. I feel really shameful saying that. I really do, but I'd rather tell you because I'm learning here. I'm learning. I feel ashamed. Checking in means more than you can imagine. Ask how you can provide support. Be prepared to do the work. Understand that coming to terms with your own privilege will not be pretty or a fun experience. It is necessary to feel feelings of guilt, shame, and anger throughout the process. Yeah, gotta do the work. Number 4, read up on anti-racist works. It is not enough to dislike racism, right? I'm not a racist, but we need to do the work towards anti-racism. There is, we'll be talking about these books in a few minutes, but there's Me and White Supremacy by Layla Saad, and How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi are books that I'm going to be reading. Avoid sharing content which is traumatic. I mean, there's already lots of PTSD out there, as I'm learning. It's best to not keep doing that, because the dehumanization of Black people it's already egregious, right? Donate to funds and support initiatives. Consider supporting platforms and initiatives which support Black people, such as the Minnesota Freedom Fund. Support Black-owned funding platforms like Kwanda and sign petitions. Put your money and pen where your mouth is. Do not center this narrative around yourself. I made that mistake, or at least apparently I did. Well, it is nice that you can relate and empathize. Now is not the time to insert your personal experiences into a narrative that isn't about you. And I don't think I did that, but this is actually harmful and takes away from the severity of the situation. Leave your ego. Number 8, keep supporting after the outrage. It should not take an act of brutality or the viral nature of a situation for you to suddenly show your support, which is what I did, right? Keep supporting Black media, Black initiatives, charitable organizations, and continuing your work after the attention has died down. Yes. Stop supporting the organizations that promote hate. If you read pieces on media platforms that promote hate or fund supremacist and hateful organizations, you are contributing to the problem. Equally, stop supporting organizations that love Black culture but fail to speak up on issues affecting the Black community. And number 10, start your long-term strategy. How are you planning to make a long-term impact or affecting change? Can you mentor a young person? Can you become a trustee for an organization that supports the Black community? Can you offer your time to volunteer? Make the effort to do something valuable over the long-term period. I think for myself, and happy to hear more, I feel like beginning this conversation, I think on the spectrum, if you take like judo or karate, I'm a white belt, no pun intended. And I'd like to be a black belt someday, no pun intended. But I think a lot of the people around me are also white belts. So while it may seem like junior, like, oh my God, we're just starting from scratch here, I believe that a lot of the people who are in my communities and in my platform and following are at the place of being a white belt too. So I think even just doing this, maybe with your own communities, here's some more people to follow, and having these courageous conversations is a place to start, and just like lots more conversations. So here are some resources that I'm using to educate myself. I watched this two-minute video called Fighting Racism, The Biggest Mistake People Make by Robin DiAngelo. This was from about a month ago. These are the books that I plan to read in the next few months, starting this week with White Fragility, Why It's So Hard for White People to Talk About Racism. I think I need to start there because I may be an example of white fragility, and I want to know. I want to know, like, what is it that Oprah says? When you know better, you do better. Well, so I need to know better. I've heard again and again that the other book that's on the screen here is How to Be an Anti-Racist by Ibram Kendi is another place to start. So I'll be reading those two. I'll leave it on the screen for you for a second. Not agree more than you are a white belt, but I am happy for your courage to speak up about this. Thank you. I am a white belt, but I'm willing to study. Thank you. Me and White Supremacy is another book. And What If I Say the Wrong Thing? 25 Habits for Culturally Effective People. So these will be on my Kindle. So, change starts from within is what I'm realizing. It takes acknowledging that and modeling non-responsiveness, meaning non-aggression. I think this is the way to speak publicly about sensitive topics. I don't know, I may be wrong. This is how I'm feeling it after this new step forward in this unknown territory for me. Like we said earlier, we can say things like, I realize that I have been wrong and I never looked at the situation the way I should have. I realize I've been insensitive and I will reprogram my mind around race. I will try to understand. I will listen. I will do my research. I will learn, and I will also unlearn my old ways. This is a humanity issue. Like, we focus a lot on animal rights. This is human rights. And then how can I best support you? Yeah, deep work and change has to happen. Absolutely, Kendra. I've got it. Are you speaking to me, Rochelle? I've got it now? Okay. So, I hope that this has helped, even if it may have been outside of your comfort zone. It definitely is outside of mine, but I'm here with, like I said, my ribcage open, showing my heart. And no, for those of you who are like, what course is she selling? How is she using this? I am not doing that. Yeah, maybe one day we won't even think Black friends, right? Ooh, thank you, Cedia. I would love to hear what your biggest insight or takeaway was. Maybe you have a question and I can't answer it. We have some wonderful people here on the live. I would love to hear if it would be useful maybe to do a Zoom at some point sooner rather than later, and invite some people who are more like black belts, right? People who know about this, who can teach us more. Listen, it's our job to educate ourselves and do the research, but if there are some people who are willing to educate us, maybe I can use my platform to do that. Yeah. What have you learned? Yes, I will be, Regina, I will make sure that the list, I'll put the list in the comments. I'll put the list in the comments right after I get off this. I think there were actually 25, and I think I forgot to put the last 4 or 5. So I will absolutely do that. Let's do a monthly on it to keep the momentum going. You've gained courage. What was your biggest takeaway? It is a journey. I don't know how to say your name, but is it Tulane? I think you're absolutely right. It is a journey. This will not be easy. It is never easy to change things for the better. You have made a start. Do not allow the rage that we feel every day from making you stop the journey. I promise I won't. In a way, I have similar journey around, similar rage around the feminine. Oh, which one? This one?
Yeah.
Okay. Do not allow the rage that we feel every day from making you stop the journey. The reality is that we all have to make the journey. I agree with you. Thank you. Compassion for, don't beat yourself up. It's courage. And wow. One day, yeah. Love to hear more insights to add to your look around the table. Does everyone look like you? Consider looking across the table and seeing somebody different from you. Thank you, Melissa. I think your communication today are the strides that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke of in his speech, I Have a Dream. Thank you, Beverly. I think I learned once again to check in with those of color. You would like to be part of my Zoom, Cedia? I would really like that. So much, yeah, Jackie. I have so much to learn myself. So I just really want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you for your kindness and generosity. Thank you for your open hearts. Thank you for those of you who are way more advanced at this than I am, that we are. Thank you for your compassion as we clumsily make our way through this wreckage of a journey. But I'm committed. So it is the first step for you too. Okay. Yeah, let's keep doing more work and more conversations. Thank you. I'm sending you all my love. Thank you so much. And once again, I just a shout out to Cashel. Thank you so much for letting me feature the things that I learned from watching your live yesterday, or this morning. Thank you, everybody. Much love to you.